Ed Stratton. I am so pumped to have this conversation with you. I know when I get highly referred to a badass by Allison Larson, I'm in for a treat. You're 36 years old. You have 5 children.
Yep.
You've only been a loan officer for 8 years. And this past year, you closed over $66 million in business down in Florida, even being newly relocated to this market and splitting between Delaware and Florida. I love what you stand for. Our initial conversation, it was like an immediate, admire fest. Like I was like, oh, yeah. I admire this guy. And of course, I loved spending some time watching you on social and how you show up. So I'm very excited about this conversation. I want to know about why you're driven. Like you're working your butt off as a loan officer. You're driven to grow and scale to that next level. What does success mean to you? Why are you going for it?
Yeah, so like it was kind of modeled out growing up in a military household, watching my dad work really hard to give opportunities to us. And I want to give those same opportunities to my family. And then, on my journey, there were different people that like were that encourager or they gave me the shot and opportunity. I want to get to a space where I can be that for others, right? So you got this person that's got tremendous potential. They're going to do great things, but they just need that one person to like speak into their life. That's my goal. That's what I want to do. I want to speak into others' lives and help them really create a great life for themselves and build generational like change. There's so many times it's one little shift changes generations. I want to be when they look back, that one little shift.
That is so moving and powerful. So out of high school, did you go into the military? Did you go into college? What'd you do pre-loan officer world?
Yeah. So I went to college playing baseball, thought that I was going to become a nurse, right? Fast forward, I get my wife pregnant, have to drop out of clinicals, and I went and worked retail, right? It was the only way I knew how to make money, kind of like a Wolf of Wall Street moment. I had a buddy who was in the mortgage industry, showed me his paycheck. I was like, I want to do that. I had 3 kids, so going full commission was really scary, but it was one of those like, if you fail, you can go back to what you're currently doing.
Why not? And what kind of retail? Were you selling clothes?
So I worked at PacSun, selling clothes, and then the children's place. Right?
Wow.
So hated both of them. Absolutely miserable, but it was a way to provide income. And I learned a lot of great sales skills there.
That's incredible. Then at some point you have the courage to go commission only and put your neck on the line with already having 3 kids. That must have been a really courageous act. Was your wife 100% behind you? Were you like, burn the boats, I'm ready? Or did you have like 2 jobs as you got started?
No, so just dove all the way in. She was 100% trusting on it. One of the big ones for me was my dad was not a risk taker, right? So like military, had another government job, kind of followed that track. And when I sat and met with him, he was like, take the risk and bet on yourself. So like that little piece gave me like a ton of courage to go do it. And then I think a large piece of it in the beginning was just the fear of failure on all the people I would let down that drove me to work harder. I feel like it's something we all need to add in, even as we succeed, is like that small amount of that drive that you had in the beginning.
I love that you started out saying, I want to be that moment, that generational change for people. And knowing that your dad's saying that to you, believe in yourself and take a risk, from a man that didn't really do that in his own life, saying that to you, how much that probably will change the direct trajectory of your family and the generations after you. That one statement from somebody you really trusted. Oh, that's so incredibly cool. So I want to break down your success, because not only did you do 66 million for 170 units in 2024, but that was 25% growth from 2023. So in a time where people are getting out of the business and they're struggling, you're growing 25%. And very interesting thing to me is recently you relocated to Florida. And so in 23, 75% of your business is back in Delaware and 25 is down in Florida. And then 2024, it's 55 Delaware, 45 Florida. And the coolest part to me in this, number journey is that you retained 80% of the numbers in Delaware. So you're not there, you're in Florida. You've maintained while not being there, and then grown in the place where you are. So tell me about that. Were you really afraid to relocate your family? What's been your mindset about straddling and working 2 markets?
Yeah, so it was crazy scary. like really, really scary. I'm one of those people that don't show a lot of that fear that I have, but it was scary because you feel like you leave, everybody's going to forget about you. And then the flip side of it, I go from Delaware, a small state, million people in the entire state, to dropped into Florida where my county has 1 million people and nobody knows who I am. Like, I'm a brand new loan officer. So struggled in the beginning and then just kind of sat and reflected of like, hey, I'm a brand new loan officer. Nobody knows what I've done. I am new. What did I do in the beginning? And took that same hustle and like started asking for, the messed up loans.
The newbie mindset. If all of us could just go back to being a newbie and look at what did we do in the beginning, which I think in the beginning of our career, it's like, do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And in preparing for this, learning about your archetypes, it's really cool to see how you have really honed in on both being a technician as well as being a trust builder to explode your growth and to find that business. So it's super interesting to me that you had 110 different agents who referred you 170 closings.
Yeah.
So why this is so critical for all of you listening that are trust builders is that typically the pinch point for a trust builder is that you go deep with people, you really get them to latch onto you, you convert at a high level, but you only know a few people. Like you're so comfortable in a smaller circle. And so what's really cool to me is that you leverage being a technician to get scale. And then you used your strength of being a trust builder to get conversion.
Yeah.
So let's break that down. So as a technician, how do you describe yourself with that strength? What does it mean to you to be a strong technician?
To me, it means I find every single little opportunity that's presented and like strategize, how do I get the most out of this, right? So, you go in the office, everybody has their favorite lender, right? How do I take each visit and get some business? So I go in with the really soft approach. I want to be your backup. Like, I want your messed up stuff in your nose, right? You have a great relationship, keep that. At some point, somebody's going to mess up a deal or you're going to get told no. I guarantee you I'm going to find a way to say yes on one of those deals. And I just want to prepare you. You're going to fall in love with me. So you don't feel guilty later when it happens. It's going to happen, right? So that's like my little ease into there. It's no pressure for me. Like, I hate cold calling. So that helps me when I kind of make that entry. And the other piece with the technician side is every relationship where I've built that trust, I treat them as my salespeople, right? I want them not to find me more deals. I want them to find me more people that can send me deals. So like, who can you connect me to that's going to like what I can do? And then kind of expand that trust out to other people.
Oh, that was so good. I want to reiterate that. So you're taking an agent that maybe only closes 3 deals in a year. And you're saying, yes, I want your deals and I want you to trust me exclusively and send me as much business as you can. But you're saying, who else do you know that could refer me business? What other agents do you know?
Yeah. And some of my biggest relationships of big groups that I've landed have been with a lower producing agent that I built a great relationship with and tried to help grow their business enough to where they got me an intro, right? Because all I need is an intro. Put me in the room and I feel like I have a really good chance of doing business with that person at some point in the future.
Why do you think that? Why do you think you have a good chance of landing them?
I'm really good at what I do and just genuine, right? So if you're genuine and you're not like super cocky with a ton of ego when you go into stuff, you're very confident, you're going to get an opportunity at some point, especially when you're not afraid to do the hard deals, right? And learn some of the outside the box guidelines.
Fantastic.
And then it's up to you to just, when you get that deal, to just sink your teeth in like nobody else into that relationship and then just expand it from there.
I love that you use the word genuine because everyone can be genuine. It's just being your natural self. And what I experienced in going to Instagram and saying, hey, I've heard about you, I want to meet you, was immediately a genuine feeling. Like you have a video of talking about the difference between working a mortgage banker and a broker and da 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 da. And I was like, this is so good. This is the best explanation. But that's because it didn't feel salesy. It didn't feel performancy. It just felt genuine.
Yeah.
So is this something you had to learn to be genuine? Is this something like you think about when you approach people, or how did you get comfortable just being Ed?
I think it's through that like sales journey of like being at the peak, the COVID years where you're crushing it and that sales piece kind of creeps into your life. And then realizing like, how empty some of that success can be if there's not a bigger purpose. And just like understanding my purpose is I truly want to help people, right? So it's easy to be genuine. Like I want people that want to work with me because of me, not because they think I'm the greatest salesperson in the world and I do the flashiest videos, right? And I also feel like if you do those type of videos, people kind of see through it. Whereas you put something out there that they're just like, this is a real dude who's going to be honest and open with me. And his story's kind of similar to mine, right? They're more inclined to do business with you or take that phone call. If you seem so unapproachable on your videos, do you think the average agent's going to reach out to you and say, hey, let's go grab coffee? No. But if you're really approachable, I actually have agents that ask me to go grab coffee, which is really weird because normally it's like us shaking their leg, trying to beg for a meeting. But I'm starting to see that flip side of it. And it's something I definitely had to learn to be more, just less salesy, right? Less just over the top, pushing, and more of like, all right, who can I connect this person with? What kind of value can I add to their life? I look at some of their stuff on social media, and if they engage back with me, I'm going to engage back and I won't even ask for sales in the beginning. I'll just engage back and try to add some value. And eventually that right opportunity to kind of push to the next level happens. And it's the opposite of what a lot of sales tell you, right? A lot of them are like, seal the deal right now, like build a relationship.
I think it goes back to the saying, if your motive is clean, you don't need a script.
Yeah.
And what you had to check yourself on was check my motive, that this is about them. And it's about me genuinely wanting to help them. And when you got re-centered in that motive and you got back to the newbie mindset, boom, you started taking off and probably feeling your mojo again.
Yeah. And it's been a lot of fun. It's more fun when you're doing it the right way than when you're just chasing numbers.
Hell yes. Okay. So when do you leave Delaware?
So about 3.5 years ago. So towards the end of like the COVID boom, right? So everything's going good. I moved to a new area, boom, market comes to a halt, and I know nobody in the new area, and Delaware got really slow.
Okay, so I just want to highlight, you did 93 deals in Delaware in 2024. You haven't lived there for 3.5 years. I imagine your competitors in Delaware just freaking hate you because they were probably like, yay, I'm so glad Ed's moved because I'll get his business, and yet you've retained it. So how have you retained it? What do you do as a trust builder to keep those relationships, even though you're not there?
Yeah, so I think social media is a big one, right? It's an easy way for them to still feel part of my life and see what's going on. I call a lot of my agents and mess around with them. Like I'll prank phone call agents. Like there's one today that I just prank phone called because he didn't pick up my call. So I left him a message that I was looking for a mobile home with wheels on it, right? But it's like that stuff that just like, it might brighten their day, So just like really focusing on like, trying to help them throughout their day or throughout growing their business versus just like, hey man, do you got any deals for me? Anything to help? Like, I feel like if I took that approach, I probably would have lost most of my relationships versus like, look, I'm the one who wants to have fun with everybody. I want to have the fun calls where we goof around. We do a ton of business and we're going to be really good at it. But like, we got to have fun doing this. And I think that's helped maintain some of it. I go back about every 8 weeks. And when I go back, I try to be really strategic and have as many meetings and face-to-faces and, do a happy hour, do some kind of event and things like that. But I think it's just some of the genuine connections that were made. And it's like explaining to people that, yes, though I don't live there anymore, I still know all the streets, all the good places to eat. I'm local. I know the market.
That's fantastic. I just interviewed Denise Donahue, and you know that she is an incredible marketer. Yeah. She's a marketer trust builder. And she said the same thing about using humor. And so I'm not a trust builder. And so that doesn't occur to me. Like I'm all intensity, all strategy, and, convert and create partnerships, and so that works for me. And it would like really stretch me. Although I love funny stuff, it just doesn't come to me naturally. So like, if you pranked me or send me funny things, Ed, I hope you do. I will love you because everyone wants to receive that. I'm just not the one that's generating that. So
you will get a prank phone call. His name's Ted Bratton, not to be confused with Ed Stratton. And at one point he worked at No Mo Mold.
Oh my gosh, this is fantastic. So, okay. You have 110 different agents that have referred you. Yep. How the heck do you manage that many relationships?
I've got a really good team around me. right? So a really good assistant, really good processor. And like, we've taken the approach that this is all of our business, right? So like, it's not just the connection with me, it's the connection with my assistant and with my processor of like really diving in. And we just try to make everybody feel special, right? This is your business you are trusting us with. The way we honor that is we do a great job with it. And we try to create additional referrals from you.
Amazing. So what I heard you just say is I don't put all the pressure on myself.
Yeah, no, it's impossible to manage that many relationships and be like everything for everybody all the time. Like you got to have some great people around you that like fill all the gaps, right? I'm not super organized. It's tough to get on my calendar because sometimes you can't get me on the phone. Everybody on my team is the opposite of that.
Brilliant. And would you say that, they're not salespeople, your LOA or processor, but would you say that they're uniquely talented in building trust?
Yeah. Yeah. So we're huge on culture. So like when we bring somebody on, I do the initial interview. Then the next interview is with the team. They do one totally separate. And that interview is more important than mine. And then we do disc profiles. And I take those and throw it in the ChatGPT with everybody else's profile. It says, how well do we work together? What are some strengths and weaknesses? And then we'll do like a group interview with that person because culture is everything. Like the culture piece is huge. If you have people that are truly bought into the vision and they feel like it's part of their vision too, it's going to show in your sales process. Like it's going to show in the client experience.
And I got to think that if I'm on your team and you're a trust builder and you're trusting me and you're making me laugh and you're making me feel a part of something, I'm going to bust my ass for you.
Yeah, they're crazy. They're crazy awesome, the team that I have. Like, and it's been my whole career that just like people get put into my life that are really amazing to work with. And just like, I truly appreciate it because probably the hardest job to do is loan officer assistant, right? You get none of the glory of the loan officer and you got to do a ton of the really hard stuff.
So how do you think these 110 people remember you? Because I mean, do you have 110 of them on a call sheet? And the people that do 1 or 2 deals a year, they get a call from you once a month or once every other month. Are you that organized with connection? No. Okay.
No. So it's a huge opportunity for me. Like if I got organized, and this is part of what we're doing, we just hired somebody for this. It's going to be something really worth watching if we get organized and strategic with these relationships. I just had a couple people reach out that are from Delaware that want to set up a call and try to work together, right? I didn't solicit them, but it's just from like word of mouth. Like if you do really good and you keep doing all those hard deals, eventually word gets out that like you help people make more money. And that's what really will bring in people. If you can help them make more money and keep that money, it'll flow in, but not organized. Those 110, there's probably 20 of them. They get called a couple times a month. The rest of them are just here and there. But I mean, I don't know how they remember to give me a call. We must have done something right. But when they get that 1 to 3 deals a year, they call us.
Well, I think it's the people will never remember what you said. They'll never remember what you did, but they will always remember how you made them feel.
Yeah.
And the first time you and I talked, I'll never forget it. I know we could come back together in 8 years and I'll be like, I was in this parking lot out in front of Foxy Nails while my 14-year-old got her stupid acrylics on. And I was talking to you and it was the way you made me feel that was memorable. And I can't even tell you what you said, but it was the genuineness that comes through, Ed. And I think this is what people need to hear and trust in themselves. The problem is they're just not talking to enough people. And you have broken through. I'm going to talk to enough people. I've got 5 freaking children. I moved markets. I'm going to stay in the newbie mindset. The other thing is, I don't think it's by accident that agents refer you to other agents. I think you've been strategic up front to be like, I want to help you, but I'm hoping that I help you so much and it's valuable that you think to introduce me to your friends. Is there some sort of script that you use like that?
No, I ask for the business all the time. Like, and if I look and I feel like things are a little slower and we need some more connections or I just don't have calls, I'll call the agents that I work with and I'm like, hey, like, who do you know that's killing it right now that I need to talk to? Can you get me an introduction to anybody? Like, who can you introduce me to? And then I explain to them like how my business works, right? Like, I need more agents to work with so I can keep giving better service. And the more deals we do, the more fun stuff I can pay for, you know, whether it's we do an event and things like that. Like it just increases that budget for marketing. And the more deals we do, the more people I can hire to make the process even better. And we can give more touch points after closing, you know, just that asking for the introductions. And if you create good relationships, people want to help you grow your business just as much as you want to help theirs. Like if you're helping them find ways to grow and you're shooting them little videos and content that they can share and it'll bring them deals, when you ask that favor back, they're going to want to help, and then when you make them feel really special when they help, it like really makes that piece stick.
How do you make me feel really special when I help you?
I'm going to find you a couple connections, right? So for you, the biggest thing I think I can do to you is connect you with other people that you need to be connected with, and it's individual, different for each person, right? A lot of times it's just being a connector, finding out, you listen to that person, you talk to that person, and immediately a couple people pop to your head like, hey, these are two really great opportunities that I can introduce these two people and it's going to grow both of them.
Let's play this out. You met me, you talked to me on a Saturday in the nail salon parking lot, and I'm new to you. We don't know each other at all. We just connected in social media 5 seconds earlier. You had the conversation with me. What do you think it would be for me? Who would you connect me to?
I think you need connected with other superstar loan officers that can help your podcast grow and then help you potentially grow. Like, so if there's a person out there that is not a good fit for me, right? But they're a rock star and you can help them grow. Why would I not introduce the two of you, right? Oh. Like I've watched what you've done with Allison and it's great. Like the proof is right there. So like to you, I think it's those kind of introductions, and I'm confident as I go through the next few months, somebody's going to pop to my head and I was like, I need to connect these two. And that's just kind of how it goes. But you're always spinning and looking for like, here's all my contacts. Here's this person I ran into. And you run it through that Rolodex of like, how do I match make?
Yeah. Who does this person need to meet and how can I do that? So that's awesome. Yeah. And again, that's so trust builder like you need to be friends. You need to know each other. And that is fantastic. By the way, Allison's a trust builder. So it's not surprising that she's like, you need to know Ed. He's a dude who's 36 and who's killing it. And it's totally true. I'm getting so much energy from you guys that are younger in the industry and have this fire and this passion, and you're doing it in your own unique way. And it feels really cool. So now I'm an agent. You said out of these 110 agents, 19 of them gave you 100% of their business.
Yeah.
And there was 50 agents that gave you 55% of their business. So again, what you're doing in terms of, showing people you really care about them and you really want to help them is allowing you to convert at a high level. If I'm that agent that does 3 deals a year and I'm giving you 55% of them or 100% of them, who are you trying to introduce me to?
CPA. I give advice on how to get more deals, right? So like you find out that person, like, what do they need, right? So if you're a new agent, you're doing 3 deals, but you're like, this is great for me. My spouse makes money. I just want to do my 3 deals, right? I'll find something in their life that they need introduced. If you want to grow, I might introduce you to another agent that's far ahead of you that I do business with that can help you grow, right? And then never know, those two might end up on a team, or it might just be something where they mentor that person. So it's constantly about connecting with other people. In our world, we don't get to hand a lot of clients back that aren't attached to somebody.
Right.
We do a good job of, if you give us deals, we're going to create more from it, but they're coming back to you, not to new agents.
Yep.
But it's just each person's different. You have to get to know that person in that limited interaction you have and find out, in all my contacts who they need to meet. And if I don't know the person, like a lot of times I meet new people because I'm like, hey, I don't have a contact for this. And I just go dial for dollars and call some people, and I go meet a couple CPAs, or I go meet financial advisors. And then it just like expands from there into more business.
Yeah, because you've got confidence and belief in your ability to connect and be likable and connect other people. And you just keep coming back to that root of, I'm not going to be the big ego in the room. I'm just going to come in and be the humble servant and be the new guy and offer to help you when you get stuck and win you over with my charm and my humor and really caring about you. And I'm so happy we're having this conversation, because I think so often people get on, some sort of training and they're like, oh, I've got to learn how to post every single day of the week, or I've got to learn how to go network and work a big room. And what you're saying, Ed, feels so approachable, especially for anybody on this call that is a technician or a technician trust builder. I think it's absolutely epic. I want to pivot to, you moved to Florida. You're still kind of the new guy. There's a million people in your county. It's hard to become the mayor and be known there. You mentioned something about every time I go in the office, I want to get some business. So are you actually doing milk routes? What are you doing to like get this Florida business?
Social media. So I've realized that I am really, really strong one-on-one. So social media, you put your content out, whatever there is, you engage on other people's content. I'm big on when you start engaging back with my content, immediately I'm in your DM, right? But I'm not asking for your business. I'm just going to start responding to your content in your DM and kind of talking. And, if something's great, I tell you, it's fantastic. Like, keep doing this, and then eventually I'm going to ask for that meeting, right? Let's grab a one-on-one. Let's get coffee. Like, I already know what the person likes because I've been watching them on social media. Like, let's go do this. Last year, I decided I want to learn how to play golf. So like, I take a lot of real estate agents golfing now, right? We go early in the morning and we play golf and get to know each other.
Fantastic. Again, a trust builder. I'm good one-on-one, and I'm going to warm them up and build trust, even if it takes me a while. And then I'm going to ask for the meeting. I mean, absolutely brilliant. So you go to Florida, and at first, are you an MMI and you're looking at people who are doing production and you just go out and start hunting them on social media and commenting and stuff like that? Or have you been more of the posting and waiting for the right people to find you?
Yeah. So initially I went on MMI and started trying to go after all those people. And it was a mistake because MMI, I'm just going after people based on production. Like, that's not true technician of going after stuff. So I changed it up, started posting on social media, got the first couple relationships, and then used those relationships to open additional doors. Like, I think that's the biggest and best thing that I did to scale is like, I got a relationship and I was like, all right, who can you introduce me to? Like, I'm new here, but I'm not new to lending. Who can you get me in front of? Right. And some of my biggest relationships I have down here in Florida is because I took some jacked up deals and I fixed them. Yep. Right. But I asked for it. And nobody else in 2022 was asking for messed up deals because we still had a pretty good bit of business going. I was asking for them. That was my opportunity.
Not being a marketer, how does your brain think of what to post? Because this is, you're only posting to build more trust with people. You're not posting to become famous. You're not posting to have your stuff shared all over the planet. You're not posting for the vanity metrics. You're literally posting to find people to build trust with and convert, which is a cool distinction. How do you, whether it's technician or trust builder, how do you come up with the what to say?
Yeah, so I try to space it out a little bit of personal and things like that. But I just try to share who I am, right? And share real, raw experiences that I've had. Like, instead of just having this glory highlight reel, like, I share some of the struggles we had. Like, I've been really broke and really struggled. And like, I've also dealt with the mental side, right? Of like, everything feels like it's crashing in and like, you're not worthy and you're no good. Like, all of that stuff, to just share it out there and then sprinkle in a little bit of mortgage and then a little bit of like, hey, I'm actually good at mortgage, and just, it'll attract the people that you need to attract.
And so are you now thinking like, I need to post something every single day? I live in my stories. Like, what is your mindset about just the volume of it so that you can continue to find people that pop out you can build trust with?
Yeah. So I'm working on just growing Facebook right now, right? Because that's the platform I have. Everybody has their own platform, right? Where they've had the most success or they just like it the most. Like, Facebook for me is what it is. And, started about 3 months ago of like, hey, how do I get a little more serious? For about 10 days, I've been posting a video a day. So that's a commitment I'm going to do for 100 days, one video a day. And one of the things I made fun with it is I pulled in like 7 or 8 real estate agents to like, hey guys, can we hold each other accountable on this? So like, building some more trust, and now we're all doing it together, right?
Nice.
And it's a sprinkle in of funny stuff, of, some serious stuff, some sharing of my life, some inspirational stuff. And it's just like, whatever comes to my head, it's just like, hey, here's what I was thinking about. Like, I was working out and I was thinking about this, or, I took one of my real estate agents. He had this video of like, with music behind it, of him and his wife going on all these trips and all this stuff. And I did a funny voiceover on it. But like, because of that, another real estate agent reached out to me that I'm not doing business with and asked if we could have a meeting, right? Because they thought it was funny. And they saw that it was somebody I do business with that I'm having fun with. Like, people want to have fun in life.
Hell yes, they do. So I'm not a Facebook person. I like, every time I have to log in, which is like once every few months, I don't know my dang password. It's like, seriously gives me anxiety that I mess it up and blow it up. So this is a dumb question. But are you posting directly to Facebook and it comes through to Instagram?
It does.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I post on Instagram only and then it pushes to Facebook. But like if you DM me in Facebook, I don't ever go to Messenger. I know that about you, right? Because I've watched, I was like, all right, she doesn't exist in this world, but she's on Instagram, you know? So that's why I got to try to grow both of them in that aspect. That's why like it's super simple. They just share to each other if you link them up. Yeah. But it is bad. Like I will at any given time have 500 friend requests because I just don't live on Facebook at all, which is kind of like I should probably shut it down so I'm not disappointing people. But I've had people who have worked for me for a year and eventually I'll remember, oh yeah, you have to accept friends over there. And I'll go and I'll just accept. And people are like, finally you accepted me as a friend.
You finally let me in, you gatekeeper.
Sorry. I mean, isn't it public? Can't you just see it? Why do you need to be, So anyway, pretty hilarious how that goes. Is there anything else that you would share about the mental game of getting over, having to look right, be right, say the right thing that has helped you? Or is it just because you're a millennial, you've just been good at this from day one?
No, I sucked. Like, it's just like anything. The more you do it, the better you get. And then when you look at it, some of the stuff that I've had the most response on is the stuff I spent the least amount of time on, right? Like people like genuine people and they like raw and like you'll probably get more likes if you jack a video all up and just post it. Be like, here's a blooper reel. I suck, right? Because it's real life. So it's just like going through the thing of like, I'm not doing this for everybody to like and love me, right? I'm doing this for the ones that it will impact their life. So for all the ones that want to make fun of it or don't like it, you're not my target audience. I don't care. For the ones that I can impact and make your life better, you're who matters to me on this, and just keeping that mindset, right? That's the whole purpose of this.
That's fantastic. So mentoring the guy who started 8 years ago, you're a year or two in the business. What advice now with the perspective you have, what would you give that earlier version of yourself?
I would tell him to not ever change. So I feel like a lot of us in the beginning really want to do the right thing and help and grow. And we're trying to do all of that. And then at some point in our career, 90% of us, we lose that track, right? And then as I'm watching a lot of the people now is like, we totally lost our track. And now we're like, wow, all these brand new loan officers are taking what business I have left. What do I do? So like, just never change who you are, and give yourself some grace, right? I feel like we're really hard on ourselves sometimes. Just give yourself some grace. And if you never change who you are and you're consistent and you show up and you care, the business is there and you will grow.
This is one of my favorite all-time interviews, honestly, Ed, because you just you bring a calm to the nervous system. And I think that everybody who's listened to this point needs to think about, what do you do to other people's nervous system? Do you make it fun to be with? Are you somebody that brings calm and simplicity? Do you make people feel like, oh, I got this? Like, this isn't that hard. This is simple. I don't know if that's strategic or not, or it's something that you learned or your upbringing, but I think life's made it happen, right? If you're poor and you have 5 kids and you're trying to figure out stuff, like you understand like what is stressful and what to get worked up about. And then what's like, this stuff's really not stressful. Like, do people like me? Do people not like me? Who cares, right? Do the people that you care about like you? That's what matters. That's fantastic. Well, Ed, I can't wait to see and watch you get organized, as you would say.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Because now and this is what's so cool about the archetype test, is that, when I first talked to you, you said, Shayla, guess what I am? I guessed completely wrong. And you even thought,
I did not. I would have thought I was a networker, right? I would have thought it's networker because I'm a super high I on the DISC profile. And it was like a weakness.
That's fantastic. And you know what I realized though, the reason I thought networkers, I remember you saying, Shayla, I just want to make another friend. I want to know awesome people. If you like Allison, I like Allison. I want to build those relationships. And I felt that was so genuine. And then the other thing is you said, and I want to connect you to people that, might help you along your path. And so that's why I thought, oh, networker, he's just, he's just meeting a bunch of people. But you're actually doing that from the trust builder seat, not from, I'm going to go work a big group. You are the guy who's one-on-one. And so my wish for you is that you don't forget who you are and that you realize that you do create this calm for people and you create this sense of confidence and a feeling of safety. And I think that for clients and realtors, just feeling like this guy's a safe guy and he's going to make me laugh and he's going to keep it light and he's going to be reliable. But that you get a little bit more honed in on your scalability because more people need to know you. And you do need to make the generational change that you desire. And your kids deserve to have daddy doing double the production he is because you got a lot of college and a lot of weddings and a lot of things to pay for.
Don't remind me. It's going to get expensive.
Any final comments? How do we follow you on Facebook and Instagram, Ed?
Yeah, it's Ed Stratton, not to be confused with Ed Stratton Jr., who's my father, right?
Oh.
But I took Ed Stratton, and he tried to get me to put the third on there, but I wouldn't do it. So yeah, you can just follow me, Ed Stratton, on Facebook. It's going to look kind of similar to this on my profile picture. But yeah, I really appreciate you having me on there. This is awesome. Like I've done a few podcasts, and this one's been a ton of fun. Like you do an awesome job of just making everybody feel comfortable. Well,
I think once I realized that there was people out in the world that I could identify with and then copy what they do, I exploded. In the beginning, I was just working in a silo in an office by myself with my own fear and hustle. And it wasn't until I got out in the world and met people like you and was like, wait a minute, he's 36. He has 5 kids. He's got a busy life. He's a trust builder. If he can do it, I can do it. I know the first person I'm going to share this episode with. Because I will tell you, I think a lot of technician trust builders hide behind their desk and work with a very small group of people. They struggle to give up control and delegate. And what you've realized is that you want to help more people and you've got to get over those things. And what you've done is you've empowered your team to also be trust builders, which has allowed you to give up control and hire people that fill in your weaknesses. So I just admire you. I'm rooting for you. And if there's anything I can help you do in this next layer of scaling up and adding another person to your team and mentoring others, as I know is a goal for you, please let me know.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.